this is Jenna.
And this is Heather.
And this is Conspiracies Unlocked. And what do we have today, Heather?
Today we are going to be discussing weather modification, also known as cloud seeding in America.
Yes, and don't forget that we did do an earlier episode about chemtrails, and that was one of our very, very early episodes, maybe 14 or lower, episode like 14, 12, 10.
Yeah.
And this is very closely related, but different. So this is more in depth because we've gotten better at this.
Well, we're going to just first talk about like the history of it and the different cloud seeding projects and experiments and all of that. History of it.
Yes, Heather did her investigative reporting much better than I did a year ago. Your turn.
So, for decades, weather modification has been thought to be a conspiracy. So, we're going to talk about what it actually is and specifically talk about what has been happening and how it relates to San Diego, because we are San Diego.
We're in San Diego, and there's been a lot of fucked up weather.
There's been a lot of flooding and a lot of rainfall that has been like the most we've ever had, ever. Yeah.
And then the there was some, which might not have anything to do with cloud seeding, but the earthquakes. They're in El Centro, which is only 20 miles east of the San Diego County.
Yeah.
It's like 60 miles east of San Diego, like city, but the county, it's only 20 miles east of it. And it was like a 4 something magnitude. And then there was all sorts of aftershocks that were like 2, 3. And it's just something that we do deal with earthquakes-ish, but not to that magnitude.
I mean, we have had big earthquakes in Southern California. We've had a lot of big ones.
The Northridge one in 1992 or 3 or 4. And that was the last big one. Big one. I
remember in the late 80s, my house shook pretty good when I was a kid. Like, to where things were, like, falling off the walls, like pictures and stuff that were, like, hanging up. And that rarely happens. Like, you'll have a picture will kind of go sideways or something. Yeah. But we don't have where stuff is falling off.
No. And so the last one, like that was like that would be the Northridge one in 1994. And I remember when I was little dealing with duck and covers, which Brad, my husband, who is 12, 13 years older, is he never had a duck and cover drill.
What?
Yeah, it's just after. So I always coined it as being the Northridge is what. Because I was like 6 or 7 when that happened. So I'm always like, oh, the Northridge earthquake made all those earthquake drills happen.
That would make sense because they would have to come up with some kind of protocol. Like, what are we going to do if this happens?
Yeah. So, do you remember it?
I do. Yeah, no, I do remember that we had more fire drills when I was a kid. I remember lots of fire drills.
Yeah, I remember those too.
We did have duck and cover drills for sure.
Did you?
Underneath your table and all that, and like junior high, and I don't really remember.
Exactly, junior high, not.
Yeah, I don't remember in elementary.
So I was doing that in elementary, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the Northridge.
Well, I would have been in junior high when you were in elementary.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think that is the dividing thing. And by the time I was in elementary, Brad already was like almost graduated out of high school.
Yeah,
so he has nothing. Like, he probably didn't even do it.
He probably did fire drills, but
yeah, but he's like, what are you talking about? Like, go under a desk. And I'm like, wait, you didn't have duck and cover? And he's like, what the fuck is duck and cover? I'm like, wait, what? And this is all new information as of, literally 2 weeks ago.
Well, I don't know if the weather modification and cloud seeding is related to the earthquakes. However,
I think it could be.
When we did talk about our with Antarctica and the ice observatory in I think it's called the ice observatory. I'm trying to remember the name, where they actually did create earthquakes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't HARP. It was different from HARP. HARP is another.
It's more under.
Yeah. No. This was underground. Yeah.
Well,
you have to listen to that episode. But there are ways that they can generate, with science, definitely they can generate earthquakes.
And then also, another thing is that with all these rains, so underneath us, it's like we're on a continent, but underneath us are a shit ton of flowing rivers.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so
how we get
the plates are moving.
Yes, that's how we get well water. Mm-hmm. Like, because certain areas you can't tap into real like city water. You have to go drill and get a well.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah. We had a well where I grew up. We had a well.
Yes. Yeah. So, and that's a lot of places, and the reason that's available is because there's rivers underneath, maybe 100 feet down, that are always going.
There's water, yeah.
So what I've been thinking about these weird ass earthquakes is that because of all the rain, it's soaking through so much so
it's like displacing the earth.
It's displacing everything, and the tectonic plates are shifting because of this massive amount of rain, especially flowing through from the Colorado, because they've had a shit ton of snow.
So everything. That could, what it seems like you're saying is with the, not even so much with the rain or cloud seeding, but that comes with the climate change. As the climate changes, things are going to start changing in the world naturally.
Yes.
Like earthquakes. So I see it on that side, yeah.
Climate change has been happening for billions of years.
No, I understand that, but with the whole, we're going to talk about it a little bit in here, and how they specifically think that it relates to the climate change.
But if they're doing it themselves, then
that's why they're trying to prevent global warming.
Okay, just go
with
continue
the cloud
forward.
seeding.
Yes.
Okay, so we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I can see how that would be related. Where did I leave off? So cloud seeding is a process.
Sentence 1.
No, actually we're on like a little bit more. So cloud seeding is the process of modifying weather patterns by dispersing substances into the air to stimulate cloud formation and precipitation. As in the history of America, this has been dating back to the mid-century. And if people don't know, like mid-century, obviously the century is 1 year, so it would be 1933 to about 1967. That this has been going on in America. We're specifically talking about America. Could be other parts of the world. I don't have information on that. And then here, we're going to talk about like an overview of it. So it goes back to the early experiments, which started in the 1940s through the 1950s. So we're starting in the 40s and we're going to get to present day. So just like bullet points for the early experiments. The concept of the cloud seeding gained attention during World War II. So that's what kind of sparked it, is World War II, when researchers observed that clouds formed around the exhaust trails of aircraft. And this led to early experiments in cloud seeding. So we can pause for a second there, and that goes to your chemtrail.
Yeah.
Is it contrail or is it a chemtrail?
Yes.
So back then, they were seeing contrails.
For sure.
And then later
they were like, wait a minute, if this is leaving, what else can we make leave?
Exactly. And the first significant experiments related to cloud seeding, because of what they saw coming off, the contrails coming off of the aircraft in the United States, was conducted by two scientists in the late 40s, Dr. Vincent Schaefer and Dr. Bernard von Gutt. Von Gutt, right? Like Von, but Von Gutt. Yeah, Von Gutt. Von Gutt. They successfully seeded clouds with dry ice. So back then they did it with dry ice. Yeah, so it's basically, if you don't know what dry ice is, it's frozen carbon dioxide. And they also use silver iodide, and this resulted in precipitation. So they did a combination of dry ice and silver iodide.
Iodine?
No, iodide. There's no N. It's just iodide. Yeah, iodide. So we're going to talk more about silver iodide because they're still using that to present day. That's
the metallic that's in the chemtrails.
It's highly toxic, but we'll get there. So So these two scientists, Dr. Schaefer, or doctors, and Dr. Von Gut, they conducted these experiments in cloud seedings, like I said, in the late 1940s. And this marked the first advancements in weather modification research. So they were like the pioneers. They were the ones that said, let's fucking do this damn thing, and went for it.
Go for it.
Let's do
it.
Yeah. So a little bit about them is they both were scientists working for General Electric. General
GE, really?
Yeah. Research Laboratory in New York. So that's who they worked for, was the electric company.
Well, that's not even just
electric, I know, it's just General Electric.
Yeah, and so they were probably like engineers and like smart back then to like figure out, because they were probably the ones that figured out how to do like washing machines and you know, GE does so much. I mean, it's a huge like engineer conglomerate. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm like, I wish I could get in GE, and then I was like, as I was thinking that, I was like, I think I've already done parts with it. Go on.
So these men that worked there, they were very, very interested in modifying weather patterns through different seeding techniques, and they tried many different techniques for the cloud seeding experiments. In 1946, Schaefer began experimenting with the process of cloud seeding by using solid carbon dioxide, also known as dry ice, like we said, and he conducted his initial experiments in a laboratory freezer. So he did it in a laboratory freezer and observed the formation of ice crystals.
Yeah.
And when the dry ice pellets were introduced into a cloud chamber, like how they reacted. So, I mean, obviously they didn't just straight away put it on a jet and put it in the sky.
But it was a controlled climate.
It was
that
a control.
they were doing.
Yeah.
That's great.
They did eventually, they get to field experiments, which they were obviously very excited about field experiments, where they got to involve flying an aircraft equipped with a dispenser to release dry ice pellets or silver iodide particles into the clouds. And this is in like 1947. So they were already doing this in 1947.
Yeah.
Like the
so
experiments.
The research and development started so long ago. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. And then just keep going, because I have a bigger, just go.
So in November 1946, Schaefer and Von Gut, they did their first successful experiment. So like they had been experimenting, but this was a successful one.
That's so awesome for them. Successful. It worked. Yay. Good job, guys.
They seeded a supercooled cloud with dry ice over Berkshires in Massachusetts. So that's the first one they did it over Massachusetts, which I can't say Essex, so Massachusetts is like hard for me to
right now
say.
she's having issues. I don't know why.
So this did result in a cloud
Oh my god.
I know.
Figure it out.
They made snow.
Woohoo!
They made snow.
That's so awesome.
In a matter of minutes.
Through the airplane, chemtrails.
They snow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so this is in 1946. So yay,
like science, bitches.
Right? Okay, so then moving forward, there was another project called Project Cirrus.
I can't believe that they did all this back then.
1946. November.
And people are like, oh, they don't do this. Well, I'm sorry, what? It's almost been 100 years, and you guys are still being like, no, it's a conspiracy.
Yeah, no, I have. Yeah, it's definitely
what the fuck?
It's definitely not a conspiracy. So Project Cirrus was in 1947. It was initiated by General Electric and the U.S. Army and the U.S. Air Force, all in 1947. After the success of these two scientists who worked for GE.
Who did it.
And they did it. So then, of course, now what does that mean when the government's involved?
Oh, these guys, they don't exist. Did they kill them?
No, that means they have, well, I don't know. I didn't look up their cause of death.
I'm sure they're dead by now.
No, but what it means, by now. But what it means is funding.
Yes,
you get a lot of money.
It's called research and development, the R&D funding.
Now they
the R&D tax credit. If you guys don't take advantage, do it.
So now they have a lot more money. They can go bigger. They can do more experiments. They're like more excited.
And then they get grants and funds and so much more.
And we get to pay for it because we're the taxpayers.
Yay.
So Project Cirrus, like I said, it was initiated by GE, the United States Army, and the United States Air Force. It was one of the earliest large-scale cloud seeding projects. It aimed to manipulate hurricanes. So now they're not even talking about clouds. It is a cloud, but they're talking about hurricane. They went from let's put some dry make let's make some snow. The kids can go sledding.
To
make a hurricane.
Disaster. Tornado. Death. Despair.
Yeah, so they were trying to make hurricanes and manipulate hurricanes by seeding them with dry ice. However, the first attempt unintentionally caused Hurricane King to change its course, and I'll tell you about Hurricane King next. It made landfall, leading to severe criticism because this, let me see where I have it. Okay, I have it here. It caused mass destruction all along Florida. It started,
and that's where all the hurricanes are anyway now. So is that why there's so many hurricanes there? Because they fucked up? And they somehow did a consistent, cyclone thing there? Did they fuck with the whole nature?
No.
Are they the reasons why climate control and climate change and climate shit's happening now? Can we put it back to GE?
It's all GE's fault.
46. So what is that? FDR. We're gonna put it on that administration, are we?
We can, I guess. Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Let's unlock it.
So we're gonna unlock this right now. So what ended up happening was that when they put the primary objective of Project Cirrus was to investigate the potential for cloud seeding to alter paths or intense hurricanes. The research hoped that seeding clouds within hurricanes with dry ice, they could influence the storm's behavior and potentially mitigate its destructive impact. So they wanted to stop the destruction.
Yeah, went the wrong way, huh?
Yeah. So there was unintended consequences.
Clearly.
What ended up happening is the cloud seeding operation during Hurricane King had, instead of altering the storm's trajectory as intended, the seeding appeared to intensify the hurricane.
Oh my God.
It caused it to change its course entirely. The hurricane. Still listening.
What is your issue?
I don't know. Hurricane King made landfall near Savannah, Georgia, because it came up from Florida to Georgia. It resulted in severe damage and loss of life. At least 7 people died. There could be more. I don't know. This is old news, so I'm just finding it. The hurricane damaged 20,861 houses in southern Florida, and 580 of them were severely destroyed, or just 248 of them were just just gone. So it caused heavy crop damage, and after the weakening tropical storm moved across, because it started to weaken, obviously, it caused power outages, damages across the United States. It left basically $30 million in damage. They amplified it. So they caused that by doing their experiments.
I can't even,
So Hurricane King led to significant criticism and controversy. And maybe that's why they started saying that, no, cloud seeding is a conspiracy, because they didn't want to take accountability for what they did. So maybe they're like, oh, we didn't do that. Not us.
Which is what
I was not it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was going to say for later, is that I'm already conspiring of this one, like this conspiracy theory, because just go on. It's my idea for after.
Okay. I'll try not to, like, stumble over my mouth. Okay. So, then we get into, like, the 50s and the 60s, okay? So, despite, obviously, there was lots of setbacks. I mean, that's a huge setback. Because then they're not going to want to give funding and stuff if it's causing mass destruction, right?
Yeah.
The public, no, and
they're
it's
gonna
directly affecting the public.
Yeah.
They're going to not be happy.
Pull back a little bit.
So, even though the interest in cloud seeding did grow, like, scientifically and, like, military, like, it did grow in the 50s and the 60s. Various government agencies starting to be more and more interested in what else can they do?
Yeah.
Whoa, look what we did. What else can we do?
What can we do to weaponize this?
So it was a few of the agencies was the National Science Foundation and also the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. So they were very interested in cloud seeding because they wanted to help enhance crops with more water and rainfall and, like, in a positive way, not in, like, let's create a hurricane to wipe out these people that we don't like or whatever, right? During the 50s and 60s, interest in cloud seeding did expand and to many researchers and government agencies alike. The growing populations, so basically there was water supply changes because there's growing population too.
Yeah.
In the 50s and 60s. We got, like,
the
boomers. Everybody's having
boomers,
babies
yeah,
and shit,
from
right?
the World War II boomers.
Yeah. So we have growing population. We have expanding agriculture and increasing greater demands on water sources across the United States.
Yes.
So from that perspective, they're saying, oh, this is going to be a good thing. It's going to be good for us to put more water into our
The problem
nation.
is, where does the water come from?
Well, the problem is the water even safe?
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Because what they're putting into the water. Not what they're putting into the water, but the way
How
that they're
they're
creating the
making it.
water.
But they're not creating it. They're pulling it from somewhere else, right? They're pulling it from the ocean, or they have to be pulling it from somewhere. They can't, they're not just making...
No, they are making it. So when they put in the 40s, when they put the dry ice and what was the other word? Something dioxide?
Silver iodide.
Dioxide. So the mixture of the silver and the...
Iodide.
The fuck is the word?
Silver iodide is what you said.
Yeah, silver iodide. Silver iodide and dry ice, the combination of that, they put it into the sky, it makes the clouds rain. Like, it draws the precipitation out of, like, the air and the clouds, and it makes it rain, or it makes it snow.
Yes, but that rain and those clouds were headed somewhere else.
Yeah.
So now you're taking away from... So I've had extensive, like, thought process on this, like, conversations.
Yeah.
And that means that, like...
Well, they can push it like they did the hurricane and manipulate it.
But by doing that, you're taking away water that should go somewhere else. So now you are causing a drought from where that water was intended to go. Like in
where it was going to go naturally?
Yes. Like in the Sahara Desert that used to be lush and all this stuff. They have now seeded it to Dubai or wherever, because Dubai is lush now, and they keep seeding it and seeding all the moisture, that now everything around there is dead.
Yeah, well, they did state that they wanted to mitigate droughts and enhance precipitation in regions that, like, desert regions that didn't have good. So it's like if the region already had, like, what they thought was enough water for that region, they would try to push it to a region that needed the water. Yeah. To try to even out everything.
They suck at that. So go on.
So, they also, like, moving forward, there was a National Weather Modification Act of 1972.
Okay.
So they did have an actual Weather Modification Act of 1972, which was in response to the growing interest and concerns about potential environmental and legal implications of weather modification. The U.S. Congress passed the National Weather Modification Act of 1972. This legislation established a federal regulatory framework for weather modification activities and required permits for large-scale cloud seeding projects. So now you had to have a permit. You couldn't just go over and be like, oh, like you're saying, I'm going to go over here. They have to say, no, wait a minute. They need the water, like whatever. You have to have permission to do it in that area. It was considered at the time in 1972 a significant piece of legislation because there was so much growing concerns surrounding weather modification activities, including cloud seeding and what the government was actually doing. So now you have like the 70s, this hippie, like, you know, vibe. They're like, they don't want you to be putting shit in the air. Like, they probably are like, what is this, man?
It's gonna
like,
die.
This isn't
this isn't natural, like, not cool. It needs to come from the ground.
Yeah.
And this is not. Yes.
So some of the aspects, like just to learn a little bit about what the National Weather Modification Act is, or was, or actually I should say is, because it still is. The purpose was the primary purpose of the National Weather Modification Act was to establish their regulatory framework and the activities conducted within. Then they have like oversight committees, and they have, just like with the projects with the UAPs, they have the oversight committees, and they have different oversight committees where they have to have like a budget. They have to have like, there's rules now. It's like you just go out there and do what you want to do. Yeah. So they're trying to just regulatory.
So they've just made it into a business model.
Exactly. And they also talked about the environmental impact. So the act required the Secretary of Commerce to access the potential environmental impacts of proposed weather modification projects before issuing permits, which makes sense because they have to like say, why do you need this, blah, blah, blah. And then these assessments included considerations such as air, water quality, wildlife, and how it's going to affect the agriculture. Like if they're growing certain, you know, crops, it's going to get into our food system, and then also human health. Because there was
actually a whole...
Yeah, because they were very concerned back in the 70s that this was not healthy.
So what is it
for
now?
People. So...
Because they don't give a fuck now, I'm pretty sure. I'd love to know.
They do care. We're getting there.
As long as you pay enough, you can do whatever you want.
Well, we're getting to like the present day now, because these are just like the bullet points. So... in the present day, I'll say 1980 to present day, and I even said San Diego because we live in San Diego. Cloud seeding continued to be used and studied across the United States for decades, obviously. The cloud seeding has been employed for various purposes, and like I said, including precipitation, reducing hail damage was another one. Oh, here's a funny one. Dispersing fog at airports. So if it's like too foggy, they will use cloud seeding to disperse the fog so the planes can like take off and land.
That's cool though.
Yeah. So like these are more present day things that they're
actually
doing.
Very useful.
Yeah. And then they also are focusing on certain regions. So the regions that they're focusing on a lot right now is California, Arizona, and Texas, because those areas are very dry. And that's where these cloud seeding programs have increased. And they're trying to increase the rainfall and the water resources in those states specific. There's more now. That was like in the 80s.
Yeah, I was going to say, because now we're having so much rain. Like, good job, guys. Yeah, did
You're doing
it. Now the problem is that...
So now...
I'll tell you the new problem.
So now this is a new problem. The new problem is what has started in another cloud seeding project that started in 1990. like having like a moment here.
Get it together.
2020.
Yes, 2020.
Now we're at 2020, okay? The Santa Ana River Watershed Weather Modification Cloud Seeding Pilot Program.
Oh no.
That's what it's called.
I hate pilot programs. It's never good.
The research and development started in 2020 to assess potential benefits of weather modification to increase water supply in the Santa Ana River watershed. As a result, the study is going to be underway for 4 years. You can tell I'm tired, right? Because I'm like, nah.
And you just said underwear.
Underwear. Yeah, it's going to be underway for 4 years. Starting November 15th, 2023, which just passed, obviously. Yeah. All the way until April of 2027. So it's underway right now. This is a local one for us. It's local. It's Southern California.
But the problem is that...
So the problem is they have begun the cloud seeding program. And I can tell you the dates and the regions that are being targeted right now.
Okay, before we get part of that, I just want to say something really quickly.
So
even though we have all this rain, we're not filling any dams. They just are releasing Lake Hodges right now. They're releasing all this stuff back into the ocean. So why are they bringing in all this rainwater just to release it back in the ocean? Mm-hmm. So whose fault is that? A certain governor's fault. Not trying to be biased or whatever. Yeah. But
yeah,
there's a reason.
I don't know. All the lakes around here are like super low.
Yeah, and no, they just go on.
So the weather.
So it just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Research and development to make it rain here, and then
they've been doing this since the 40s, and I don't know. It's just weird.
Just go.
So the weather modification pilot program has begun. These are the dates I have so far as of yesterday when I was finishing this episode. So December 21st, 2023, with target regions being, this is all like California like area. The Northwest, it's basically everywhere. The Northwest, the Northeast, the Southeast, the Southwest. It's just like the regions,
it's
right?
Yeah.
No, December 22nd, 2023, target regions. Northwest, Northeast, Southeast,
So they have this posted somewhere saying where are they cloud seeded?
Yeah, they're letting you know. They have to publicly let you know. You just have to know where to find it. December 29th, 2023, target regions. Northwest,
oh my God,
Northeast,
it was pouring then.
Yeah, Southeast, Southwest.
Wow.
December 30th, 2023, target regions being Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, Southwest. This is all California. Okay?
This is, just like...
And like the West. This is all the West. They're focusing on the West. January 3rd, 2024, target regions, Northwest, Northeast, Southeast. January 20th, 21st, and 22nd, target regions, Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, East, Southwest. February 1st.
Southwest, and that's January 20th. Yeah.
February 1st.
Yeah.
That's
when that was when I had to go to the house in the desert because the big atmospheric rain was coming. It was a huge deal, and I had to go. That was the weekend I did.
Cloud seeding. Yeah. So, February 1st.
They should be responsible for any water damage that's going down.
Yeah. Northwest, Northeast, Southeast. And there was a lot of flooding in Southern California. So much flooding. Like, I'll post a video. You may have seen it anyway if you're watching the news.
Anything. Well, actually, on TikTok. Anything. No.
It depends on where they live, though.
No, they would have seen it on TikTok because it was gnarly. I was seeing, like, people from, like, New York reposting the same thing of the cars floating down.
Yeah, it's a lot. We don't get that much water like that.
So we don't know how to handle that much water.
Yeah.
At all. And instead of filling up the dams and filling up the lakes and filling all this up, we're just letting it go back in the ocean.
So because of this specific cloud seeding that's happening from December, has been happening since December, this is what they have been doing. They have been mixing cancerous silver, I want to say iodine, but it's not, there's no N.
Iodide is what you keep saying.
Iodide. It is iodide. Silver iodide with acetone. Now they're
nail polish remover.
They put acetone. They blast it into the air with cloud generators. They don't use jets. It's not coming out of the jets. They blast it, and I'll post pictures. They blast it up into the air
really
with
quick,
cloud generators.
I have a great, there's a Netflix thing. Oh my gosh. And it's the, like, coolest guy, but he's such a nerd. And he talks about this, and he actually goes to Arizona, Texas, blah, blah, blah. And he goes up in one of the jets that cloud seeds. And he explains it all. It's like 10 episodes, and it's something like, and they go like to these random places for shit like this.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool documentary, but really cool show. I forget
what
what
is
it's
it
called.
called?
I don't know, but it's on Netflix. It's really good. Like, If You Knew, or What Do You Want to Know, or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you don't know what it is, I don't know. I can't watch it. So
yeah, okay.
Text me when you know what it is.
I'll post it if I know. I don't know. It's a really cool show, though.
Yeah. My hair's all fucked up. Okay. So what they do is they mix cancerous silver iodide with acetone. And they blast it into the air with cloud generators to make rain. What happens is they burn the silver iodide and acetone mixture. It burns off into the sky. Hundreds of these ground-based seeding methods called cloud nuclei generators and also automated high output ground seedings are being placed right now in over 10 states. So they just started placing them in over 10 states. They didn't list the states yet. I don't know a list of them.
California's one.
Well, I know California, Arizona, and Texas because that's where they already started, but I don't know the other states yet. Silver iodide is linked to numerous health risks, including toxicity, reproductive disorders, developmental delays, defects, and cancer. Symptoms of silver iodide toxicity.
I don't know why you're having such
I don't know. I want to say iodine. That's why.
I know.
It's not
I think
iodine.
it's iodide.
So every time I see it, I want to say iodine, but it's iodide. So I'm sorry. So silver iodide, it can be fatal. Also, if it comes in contact with your skin, it could like burn your skin off.
Yeah.
Like it'll burn your skin off. So they are putting this into the sky with acetone in a mixture in the air. What happens is the particles attach to smoke and dust and anything like that. And as it comes down, it doesn't completely burn off. Like they do shoot it in the sky and it makes the clouds and it makes the rain or the snow or whatever they're trying to accomplish. And then it's supposed to burn off. And that's why they say it's safe for the public. It's the amount we put in the air is not enough to harm you, blah, blah. They say all these things, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is not enough of it is burning off and then it can get stuck in the dust and the air and the smoke and the particles. And then you inhale it in your lungs and then you can get cancer and all these different problems that I listed. So some of the symptoms of silver iodide toxicity include coughing, wheezing, and difficulty breathing. And not to be like a full-on conspiracyist person, Conspiracies Unlocked, but what happened in 2020? We had an airborne lung thing that caused coughing, wheezing, and difficulty breathing.
Is it a coincidence?
Is it a coincidence?
I don't know.
I was due to cloud seeding. I don't know. Could it be this shit that we're breathing? Silver iodide and nail polish remover, acetone? I don't know. That's just my thought. I didn't see that anywhere. I just kind of was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering it's extremely toxic. Yeah. Because they started in 2020.
Yeah.
So it's possible. I don't know.
Except it was leaked from Wuhan, China.
I mean, I know, but was it?
But yeah, they've all denied it. They've all denied it. The Wuhan people, didn't they deny all of that?
I don't know. I know, like COVID. The thing with COVID is COVID has been around forever. Like, you could see, like, on your, like, Lysol wipes from a long time ago. Killed COVID.
Yeah.
But COVID-19 and all these other variants are, like... So, maybe it's just coincidental that they both cause coughing, wheezing, and difficulty breathing. I don't know, but...
You sound like a cold commercial.
I feel like I have a cold right now.
I treat coughing, wheezing, and fucking... Take your Robitussin. Here. Okay, I stopped recording really quickly because we're already 40 minutes in and we have a little bit less. Do you want to do it as a two-part?
Yeah, we're going to do a two-part because I'm too giggly today, too. And I'm only on page 8 and I'm like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
But I have a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about Biden. And we're going to talk about the CIA. And
I think that this is going to be a two-part. So
this is definitely going to be a two-part. But
let's finish this off then.
And then the whole COVID things wasn't on my paper. That was just like a little rant.
Can you X that out, or do we need to finish something? Or can we just be like, we'll pick up next week?
Yeah, we'll just pick up right here.
All right, make a big old note.
I'm going to write COVID rant.
Perfect.
So I know where I left off. And this will be part 2.
Okay. So we're going to end it on this recording really quick, guys. Sorry. Hi everybody. I've been trying to respond back. I've been messaging people.
It's metal, so the lasers can pinpoint a better...
So the lasers can pinpoint us better.
Yes.
Wear a blue jacket.
Yes.
He knows us so well. Thank you, Daniel. Okay, so,
he does.
Okay, you're all he does. Okay, let's finish off this episode. Hold on, I'll do it.
Yeah. You like just stop talking.
Yeah,
I'm all.
This is so fascinating, but we're running out of time. I think that we really need to pick this up next week. So, this is. We didn't realize it would be a 2-part episode, but this is the end of, unfortunately, part 1. Tune in next week, and we will do part 2. So don't forget to tune in next week, and
don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.
Email us at conspiraciesunlocked@gmail.com, and don't forget to like us on YouTube, subscribe. You'd help us out a lot. We're trying to push those YouTube ones right now.
Yes.
So YouTube subscribers, thank you so much. Bye. We're gonna have to redo that.
The bye.
All right, all of it.
I wasn't ready.
I know, because I did a you.
I'm so tired right now.
No, I did a you, and I was like talking to them instead of this. I forgot that I was like fully saying bye. Like halfway through, we're sleepy.
You know what happened is, like, I ate, and then I got really full, and then I got, like, I just want to go to bed now.
Yeah, it's, like, late here. It's already 8:19.
Hey, 8:19 is late, because I have to wake up at 4:45 in the morning.
I've been up since 6 with my kids, so...
We get up early.
We do.
This is late.
And they don't even have school, and so I kept them all asleep for a very long time.
Mine
tried to. Yeah, no, mine have the whole week off. Can you believe that?
I know,
you get President's Day a whole week.
My kids used to get the week off too.
Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Daniel. He said, good night. You guys are very interesting. Cute. Okay.
We're interesting?
We're something. All right. We're going to end this video, and we will see y'all later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.